Hello, hello. It is Thursday, y'all, so you know it's time for Money Talks with Mitchell Consulting. I am Lauren King Darden, and I am here to talk to you about all things business finance. We talk about CEO moves, we talk about a lot of different things. So, if you have any questions for us, please let me know. Put them in the comments, or you can DM Mitchell Consulting, and we will try to discuss whatever is on your mind on Money Talks. Okay, so May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And in May, we are focusing on how to protect your peace as a business owner. Okay, today, what we're going to talk about in protecting your peace is building a team. Building a team, we know it may not always protect your peace, but I want to give you a couple of tips that will help you to build your team in a way that would create a peaceful situation for you. Now let's get into it. All right. So there is a lot of power in delegation. One, because a lot of times as owners, we have on 1,000 hats, right? There's literally an app called 17 Hats because as the owner, you are marketing, which is not my favorite, but there are people that are great at that. It ain't me. There's bookkeeping that you must do. You must keep your numbers in order, not just for taxes, but for strategy. Then you have admin things that you need to do. You need to track your emails between customers. There's client delivery. Of course, that's your main goal, is to get your product or service to your desired clients, right? You got to do that well. And then you also need to make sure that you are tracking people that you're in touch with. So your client relationship management, you got to do a lot of with that. You got to get out there networking, finding new business. So you're also in sales. What else do you have to do? You have to create everything. So you're a designer, you're a graphic designer, all the things, right? I think we're getting the gist here. But when you're building a team and delegating those things that maybe you're not the best at, it can create some major synergy, major growth. And it's really the key to scaling and getting to the next level, right? The more people you can reach, the more money you can make, to be honest. Like, you want to get your product or service out there. And so building a team can create a lot of peace in that process. But here's what you need to do to ensure that you are bringing the right people into your space. I know building a team takes a lot of trust. And a lot of times everything is in your head. So you need to get things out of your head. That's step number one. Get it out your head, get it on paper, and create processes, policies, and procedures for your business. That's step one. Now, you may have already done that partially. Like, let's say you brought on a contractor to help you deliver client services, right? You may have already gotten part of what you do out of your head, but there are so many things that you're doing in the background to ensure that your messaging is clear and cohesive. People need to understand what that is. If you're going to bring someone on to do that, they need to understand what you want from them. They're not going to learn by osmosis, so you have to get it out of your head. And one really cool thing that Michelle, owner of Mitchell Consulting, does, she will sit on Zoom, record herself, and just brain dump. She will record herself doing certain things, record herself, this is how I send emails. This is the tone that we prefer. Get that transcript, put in the chat GPT, and ask chat to pull out the processes in which she did. I mean, we have a lot of tools that can help us to really simplify some of the things that we are making a little more complicated. So one, just get everything out of your head. Two, the next thing you want to do is make sure that you are very clear on the roles that you need and the skill set that matches that role, right? So you have your processes and procedures. Now you know the parts of the business that you need to delegate, and that will allow you to clearly discern the best skills that would fit those roles that you are wanting to delegate, right? So then you have a clear vision. You can write the job description well. You can explain to who you're bringing on exactly what you need them to do, because you got the processes out of your head. And now you're like, okay, this is the skill set that I see that makes sense to bring into the business. You don't need to duplicate yourself. You don't need somebody who has all the skills you have. You need someone who is going to complement the skills that you have and that's going to be able to take things on and deliver services in the way that you would, or create content or whatever you need in the way that you would. They need to understand your culture. They need to understand your mission and your vision. That will help you to bring on the right person that will help you with the inner peace, right? Because you can trust them. You know that when things come out of their mouth, it's going to match the energy that you want them to bring. So you have to get things out of your head. You have to really be specific about the skill set that you want to bring on. And then once you have that person in place, you need to understand them as a person, right? So at Mitchell Consulting, when I came on, I took a bunch of personality tests, and I will tell you that is very different from my experience in corporate America, okay? Very different, because nobody cared about my personality, how I communicate, and what motivates me. But if you as an owner can take the time to really get to know the people you're bringing onto your team, understand how do they communicate? Do they like very direct communication? Do you have to finesse them a little bit? Do you have to show how much you care? Everybody needs something different. And it might take you, let's say it takes an hour of your time to spend time with this person to kind of review what they say is something that motivates them. And then that can lead to dividends of their satisfaction, of their engagement. It'll help them to be more productive, more efficient, and more effective because they know that you care about that. I know that I need to deal with Edward this way because Edward is motivated by XYZ. Edward likes to communicate in this, and this. You understanding that as an owner will create peace for you because you are creating an environment of care. You're caring for the person that's there. They're not just a warm body to do the things that you don't want to do. People are people. People are sensitive. I'm sensitive, shoot. And there was a time at Mitchell Consulting where I was in a role that didn't fit my skill set. And Michelle said, I don't think this is your calling. But guess what? I'm still here. I'm in a different role. And that's because she took the time to figure out what I'm good at. She saw value in the skill set that I did have, right? And sometimes it doesn't match up. You might need to let people go because they don't match. But if you can find a place for someone in your organization doing things that they're really good at and things that they actually enjoy doing, it can really help you to avoid that hem and haw that we sometimes see in the workplace where people are just dragging along doing the things that they don't like. I mean, we all have to do things we don't like, but if we can avoid things we don't like as much as possible, I'm just saying it's a more ideal situation, and it'll help activate your team. They'll want to come to work. They'll be excited to do what they're doing, right? Okay, so we talked about the delegation, creating processes, understanding skill sets, understanding people and what motivates people. And now I just want you to think about strategy a little bit. What do you need in your business? Do you need a contractor or do you need an employee? There are a couple of differences between the two things. Contractors, sometimes they'll come on a project base. Sometimes when you're growing, you don't have money for an employee. I'm just be honest. Getting an employee is going to be more of a financial investment. You have to pay for part of the tax. You have to pay more taxes. You have to pay them, and then you have to pay for systems to track your payroll. So it's going to cost you a little bit more. It's more of an investment. You need to train them. You need to pour into that person. Not saying you shouldn't pour into your contractors, but at the same time, contractors just come with a different level of investment. You don't have to do all of that, right? So if I'm building and I'm like, okay, the amount of hours you can work is going to vary based on what I'm able to pay you because we're scaling right now, right? But I need you to take this off my plate so I can focus on my zone of genius. I need to do this so I can bring more people into the company, so I can create, engagement with our customers, X, Y, and Z, right? They come here, you bring them on, and they're the ones that are going to do that, right? And you can say, hey, I need you to work 5 hours this week because, we're not going to do that. And you can do that. They can vary in how much they work. When you have an employee, they're going to be there for the same amount of time. They're going to get their salary, or they might be hourly, but at the same time, the same thing is you need to understand that the investment is going to be different. And you need to understand what you need at this point in your business. So, with that being said, just remember the things that will help to make your life easier. Get the processes out of your head. Move, create those skill set, understand the skill set based on the processes that have come out of your head. Sorry, I was like super distracted by something. Sorry, y'all. Understand the skill set that you need. Understand the people that you're working with so that you can help them. And then understand what your business truly needs from a strategy perspective. Employees have benefits, contractors have benefits, but it all depends on what you need and what's going to create peace for you. So I hope that today's talk is helping. It's giving you peace of mind. It's giving you everything you need, because we're going to think about our mental health in May. And we want to do things that will improve our mental health in May. Be aware of what brings you peace and then hone in on that thing. So I hope that this was helpful today. Again, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please put them in the comment section or DM us. Again, I'm Lauren King Darden, and I will see you next week for Money Talk. Bye.